Hello everyone and welcome back to the Devlog for Real Communism, my city builder game. I appreciate everyone that reached out to tell me happy birthday last week. If you didn't, we're no longer friends, don't ever talk to me again. I spent the entirety of this week further implementing controller support. It's taking a lot longer than I originally anticipated. There's a lot of factors that I didn't take into consideration on the front end, but I still feel like it's worth it to do it, so I'm gonna do it. I spent a lot of time experimenting with what to do with the mouse cursor when some of the UIs are open. I tried to leave it as this fully movable cursor, but it creates this dilemma where when the cursor is hovering over the UI, it has to battle for what has priority over that or the selected button variable that I'm using for controller support. And in either case, it's kind of confusing and distracting. Then I tried to have the cursor set specifically to the position of the selected button so that you can't really move the cursor just goes to wherever the selected button is on the screen. But it's still kind of clunky when I did it, so I decided to go away from that as well. I ultimately decided to disable the cursor entirely when UIs are open in the game and you're using a controller. It creates for a much cleaner experience on the UI. And it's much more straightforward, it's understandable, the player knows what they're supposed to be doing. The downside is that I've got a few on-hovered events that happen in some of these UIs that won't fire because there's not a cursor that's enabled in the game. So I'm going to have to probably manually do that or redesign the UIs entirely, which I obviously don't want to do. I also worked on controller support for a couple of the buildings and their UIs. The bakery and the brewery can now be selected and all of their UIs are fully navigable from a controller. That includes the ability to be able to assign workers as well. After taking a week off, it feels like I was just kind of spinning my tires this week. Like nothing was going smoothly. Every task I was trying to do, there was some part of it that I didn't know exactly how to handle it or I couldn't figure it out right away, and it just got kind of frustrating. But it's going to be that way sometimes, and I've just got to deal with it and just move forward anyways. I will say at least I've got some of the buildings set up now, and I've got like a structure to follow for how to convert or implement controller support on these various buildings and stuff. So it should just be a bunch of copy paste going forward for a lot of these buildings, and it's just putting in the time to do that copy paste stuff. Hopefully by next week controller support is fully implemented and I just can kind of tag on controller support to every task and feature that I do in the future. Please support the game by wishlisting it on Steam. You can find a link to that in the description. And if you want to keep up with the development progress of this game, subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on X/Twitter at HaydenMarlowe_, or you can follow me on TikTok at Marlowe Development. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.